Hi everyone, so this is a quick tutorial about some of the resources that I'll be using for my research project. My research project is based on technology in the special education classroom, so it's going to touch upon different technologies you will see, different disabilities that will be in a special education classroom, and the necessity and benefit of having technology accessible to them. One of the areas that I'm going to be focusing mostly on is the area in which technology helps students with disabilities communicate. So I have worked in special education classrooms where half of the population within the classroom is nonverbal and they speak through assistive technology. One of the programs that I became very familiar with is a program called Proloquo to Go. So as you can see, this is their main website where you can learn a lot of information about the app and about some of its capabilities. What's great about their website is that it also teaches you how to teach others to become familiar with this program. Um, Being that a special education classroom just isn't a teacher and student usually. It has a lot of speech pathologists and OT specialists and physical therapists. It's important that everyone working, collaborating with the student is familiar with the program. So their website is fantastic. They give you a ton of visuals and they are really accessible too. So this is Proloquo to Go, being that one of the areas I'm going to be focusing on is how important it is to have technology there for students who need to communicate. This is the route that I think is important to touch upon. So with Proloquo to Go, this is pretty much like a home screen. So what the child would do is they can communicate wants, needs, as if they were verbal. It's a picture-based kind of program. As the student develops their vocabulary, you can change the format where it is simply typing in words that they know how to type without necessarily choosing the picture. That's the ultimate goal, is to get to a point where the student is physically typing out their needs and not relying on picture cues to help them. So that's one of the pros about Proloquo, is that it develops with the student. So it is personal to them. You can customize it as you need. It really is a great program because it's constantly evolving. That means that everyone working with the student needs to constantly evolve as well, but it's a good thing because it means the student's vocabulary is developing to a higher case. So this is pretty much what Proloquo to Go looks like. It can be accessible on an iPad, which is most commonly seen, or also, these aren't as common anymore, but like iPods, iPod Touches, which is a much smaller device, so it can be hidden. But the iPad is probably your best bet, being that it's a lot of younger students that are using it first, and they can easily navigate an iPad. So this is their home screen. And then as you can see at the bottom, there's all different folders. So you go into folders that have categories like food, places, clothing, needs, wants, feelings, emotions, sight words, actions, and whatnot. What's nice is Teachers Pay Teachers, which is a very well-known resource site, has a ton of different resources that you can use. So I know a lot of the lessons that I would be using would be, short stories. So I could easily go to Teachers Pay Teachers and I can physically look up Proloquo to Go lessons, and then I can pull up anything they give you. So if you're willing to pay, the prices usually aren't that bad, but you can also go to Ascending. That way it's the free stuff first. And still, you're going to find great things. What I like to do is, buy something I like because then I have it forever. So Teachers Pay Teachers, mostly a lot of my teachers, know this, but is a really great resource to use. And it's really specific. So I typed in Proloquo to Go, and all these Proloquo activities came up. One that I looked into, because one of the ways that you can really enhance vocabulary is by having the student reading short stories. So this story I typed in, Proloquo to Go story, and it came right up. So this is called Going Camping. So this would be an example of a great book you could use while working with a student during guided reading and even math, because they would be reading each word, but then there's also a counting factor in it. So after they would read the short story, they would have to count the number of animals they see. And a lot of the times in special education classrooms, you're going to see those laminated pieces with Velcro and they're going to stick them on. So this would be a great story to have ready to go for guided reading or for a math lesson. So Proloquo to Go is going to be something I'm focusing a lot on because I'm very familiar with it. And it really is one of those necessities that come with a special education classroom that has students with nonverbal disabilities.